This is the official table for Serie A 2005 to 2006. The recorded one. Read the bottom row. 91 points. Last place. The most points won by anyone in the division entered at the foot of it. That is the record. Not a mistake in it. Above it, a champion on 76. 15 fewer. A club that finished third on the pitch and was never penalized. You already know the name. Calciopoli. The one case football's own justice system actually adjudicated, not a pundit alleging it. So there is one question worth asking. What exactly was proven? Because Italian football decided the table should read like this, and it has read like this every day since you last argued about a call. The sentence is bigger than anything you have argued about. 2 league titles taken off one club, 1 handed to another, 1 given to nobody. That club relegated for the first time in its history. 2 men banned from Italian football for life. If you have ever wanted a refereeing decision properly investigated, this is what it looks like when it actually happens. Juventus were stripped of the 2004-5 title and of the 2005-6 title. They went down to Serie B. Their general manager Luciano Moggi and Antonio Giraudo were banned for 5 years, and in June 2011, the federation made both bans permanent. They still stand. Neither of those 2 men is who this story ends on. Milan, Fiorentina, Lazio and Reggina were all docked points. 2 titles, a relegation, 2 lifetime bans, and almost every number in that ledger moved. Almost everybody has the phone calls backwards, and the true version is worse. Say Calciopoli to anyone who follows football, and the same sentence comes back. And it is always the same sentence. That was the one where they fixed the matches. It is the precedent underneath every argument about every call since. The offense Italian sporting justice punished was not a referee taking money. It was about who picks the referee. In Serie A at that time, 2 men designated which official took which match, Paolo Bergamo and Pierluigi Pairetto. Prosecutors intercepted phone traffic. In May 2006, transcripts appeared in the Italian press, showing Juventus's general manager in contact with the 2 men who assigned referees. That is what was punished. A system of improper influence over who got sent to referee. Sit with what that means for what you have been watching for. You can watch a referee for 90 minutes looking for a bent decision and find nothing, because that is not where the finding was. What Italian sporting justice punished happened before kickoff, in the appointment itself. So when the word arrives, fixed, check which thing you mean. The sanctions were written against the appointment, not against the score line. And they stand. No one was convicted of fixing the result of a specific match. Keep both of those somewhere you can reach them. Most of the internet carries only one. Which of them you walk away with decides what you think this story proves. The first thing that moved was the number. 14th of July, 2006. If you support one of the 5 clubs in that file, this is the morning it started. The first tribunal delivers. Juventus, relegated to Serie B and docked 30 points. 30 points and a division below. 11 days later, the appeal. Same evidence, same federation, same conduct. 17. Then, the 27th of October, arbitration at the Italian Olympic Committee. Still the same evidence, still the same conduct. 9. 30. 17. 9. 105 days from the first ruling to the last, and the punishment for identical proven conduct had fallen by 70%. This channel exists to put an error bar on a measurement. Italian football measured the same offense 3 times and got 3 different answers, and the spread between them was larger than the final answer itself. Only the last number entered the record. The other 2 are still in it if you look, and one thing never moved. Across all 3 rulings, the relegation itself stood. They disagreed about the number, never about the finding. The second thing that moved was the titles. 2 seasons were taken off Juventus. Count what you get back. 2005-6 as played, Juventus 91, Milan 88, Inter 76. Juventus were struck out and placed last. Milan, Fiorentina, and Lazio were each docked 30 points from that table. Inter were not penalized, so Inter, third on the pitch, finished top of the corrected one. In the official record, that title now stands to Inter, 15 points behind the club that finished first. Now the season before, 2004-05 as played, Juventus 86, Milan 79, Inter 72. That title was erased and given to nobody. No champion, no runner-up. A blank where you would look for the trophy. Same case, same club. 2 consecutive seasons and 2 outcomes the record has never reconciled. If the case was strong enough to move a trophy in 1 year, what changed in the other? A points column is a very quiet way to describe what this did to people. By the end of October, the penalties for the season already underway stood at this: Fiorentina, minus 15. Lazio, minus 3. Juventus, minus 9 in Serie B. Milan and Reggina carried theirs too. 3 months earlier, the appeal had Fiorentina at 19 and Lazio at 11. Those clubs had already started playing by the time the numbers came down, so you could watch your team win a match in September and not know until the end of October how much of the season that win had actually bought back. If you supported one of them, your season began in a hole dug by a case you had no part in, and the depth of the hole changed while you were standing in it. And notice what the sanctions were made of: points and titles, never a result. The third thing had its own clock. Everything so far is sporting justice, football judging itself. Those sanctions are final, and nothing that follows undoes any of them. But there was a second track in the criminal courts, and it did not finish until 2015. November 2011. A court in Naples convicted Luciano Moggi of criminal association aimed at sports fraud. 5 years and 4 months. December 2013. The Court of Appeal in Naples upheld the conviction and cut the sentence to 2 years and 4 months. March 2015. The Court of Cassation annulled it, without a retrial, because the charge had passed its statute of limitations. On some individual sports fraud counts, he was acquitted outright. Be careful with that, because both sides of this argument will use it on you. It is not an acquittal on the conspiracy charge. A time bar is not a finding of innocence. The case ran out of clock. It is also not a standing conviction. There is no final criminal verdict against him, and he has continued to protest his innocence. Sporting sanctions. Final. Criminal case ended on the statute of limitations. Both true at once, and anyone who gives you only one of them is selling you something, which leaves one number to settle. They fix the matches. Against that sentence, put this: a criminal case that ran to the top of the Italian courts. Prosecutors' intercepts. 3 sporting rulings. Convictions for fixing the result of a specific match. 0, with the sporting sanctions still final and never overturned. Not 0 because nobody looked. 0 after everybody looked, with powers no football authority has, and be exact about what that does and does not mean. It clears nobody. The sporting sanctions are final and were never overturned. The criminal case ended on the statute of limitations. Both of those are still true. What it means is narrower. The thing people reach for, that match was bought, is the one thing no court ever convicted anyone of. What was proven was narrower than the word you reach for. What was punished was smaller than what you remember. There is one exception, and it is the strangest fact in the story. One definitive criminal conviction did survive Calciopoli. Exactly one. It belongs to the last person you would guess. A referee. Massimo De Santis was convicted of criminal association, not of fixing the result of a match, and given a 1-year suspended sentence. He disputes that case to this day, and his is the only one still standing for a procedural reason. When the statute of limitations reached his case too, he declined it. The reported reason, letting the charge expire would have looked like admitting it. He asked to be judged. He was. He lost. Look at the shape of that because it is the opposite of what you would predict. Of everyone the state investigated, the only conviction left standing belongs to the man who asked a court to rule. That row is still there. 91 points recorded last. And now you know what had to be proven to put it there. And that gap between the two seasons, one title moved, one erased, has never been explained in the record. There is only the record, and it gives them two different answers. Use it as the bar. The next time the word arrives in your chest before the replay has finished, measure it against this. 2 titles, a first relegation, 2 lifetime bans, sporting sanctions final, criminal case ended on the statute of limitations. And in all of it, nobody was convicted of fixing the result of a single match. In October 2023, the last attempt to move that record was ruled inadmissible. 20 years on, it has not moved. There is a better question. Not was the referee bent. Ask, who chose him? And could anyone have known that in advance? It is the version with an answer. The lesson here is not that the game is crooked. It is how far you have to go to say so, and how much less you come back with. What was proven was narrower than the word you reach for. What was punished was smaller than what you remember. Sterling, 2.4 centimeters offside, against an error bar one analyst put at 13. That one is already up.